After paradigm shift in teaching, instructional objectives are replaced with academic standards. After pedagogical shifts or after paradigm shift in teaching, after radical changes occurred in the field of teaching and learning, academic standards are emerged. What is the meaning of standard? Standard is related to level of quality. Academic standards refers to what a student should know and to do in a given subject is called academic standards. Academic standards means what a student should know and do in teaching learning process. These academic standards are guidelines in the process of teaching and learning. In simple terms, academic standards means what each child should know and do in a given lesson or subject is called academic standards. So what are the differences between instructional objectives and academic standards? Instructional objectives are influenced by school of behaviorism in psychology. Academic standards are influenced by constructivism in psychology. Instructional objectives are based on Benjamin S. Bloom taxonomy of educational objectives, whereas academic standards are influenced by Anderson-Krathel model. Instructional objectives are teacher oriented, academic standards are child oriented. What teacher knows and what teacher has to transmit to the students in the process of teaching and learning are related to instructional objectives. What each child should know and do in a given lesson is academic standards. So what child knows is important in academic standards. Based on the instructional objectives, students' brain is tabula rasa. Tabula rasa means empty slate. So the teacher has to transmit his knowledge, understanding, and the student should develop application ability, certain attitudes, interest, appreciation, and skill among the students. According to academic standards and school of constructivism, each child mind has quality to construct the knowledge. If you give an opportunity to the students, they can construct the knowledge based on their socio-political, cultural context and experiences. Let us discuss academic standards one by one. So these academic standards are very important for competitive point of view. If you understand academic standards, these academic standards are not only useful in second unit but also in evaluation process, assessment process. First academic standard, conceptual understanding. It is called AS1. AS1 means academic standard 1, conceptual understanding. What is the meaning of the concept? A generalized idea. Understanding means if the students distinguishes the concepts in terms of similarities, differences, examples, it is called understanding. If the student knows the interrelationship of the concepts is understanding. Concept means generalized idea. According to National Curriculum Framework 2005, there is a shift from rote learning to conceptual understanding. According to NCF 2005, 5 guiding principles ensuring that learning shifts from rote methods. Unlike instructional objectives, in academic standards, there is no knowledge and rote learning, cramming learning. Conceptual understanding is given priority. In instructional objectives, the first objective is knowledge, whereas in academic standards, the first academic standard is conceptual understanding. In conceptual understanding, so what are the important learning indicators or important terms to recognize answer in multiple choice questions. First one, comparison, similarities. In a given example, if the term comparison or similarities are there, it is related to conceptual understanding. As in instructional objectives and specifications of understanding is related to conceptual understanding. So the first one is similarities. The second one is differences. If the student is able to know the differences between two concepts, so it is related to conceptual understanding. Remember, similarities, differences. Third one, classification. If the student is able to classify the concepts, it is related to AS1, conceptual understanding. Explanation. If the student is able to explain or giving meaning to a concept, it comes under conceptual understanding. So point number 1, differences. Point number 2, similarities. Point number 3, classification. Point number 4, explanation. Point number 5, the student gives examples. If the student is able to give examples to the concepts, technical terms, it is related to conceptual understanding. Remember these important points related to conceptual understanding: differences, similarities, classification, explanation, and giving examples. I am repeating, based on these key points, you can identify the correct answer in given choices. There are 6 academic standards. Examiner will give 4 academic standards in multiple choice, and he gives a textbook example. Your task is you have to identify the correct answer. So the first academic standard is conceptual understanding. Concept means generalized idea. Understanding means knowing the relations, interrelations of the concepts. How to remember the key words or learning indicators related to conceptual understanding. Point number 1, differences. Point number 2, similarities. Point number 3, classification. Point number 4, explanation. Point number 5, giving examples. Next one, analysis and synthesis. In instructional objectives, analysis and synthesis are related to application, but in academic standards, analysis and synthesis, these cognitive processes are related to conceptual understanding. What is analysis? Process of thinking is analysis. The product of thinking is synthesis. Segregating the concepts into smaller parts is called analysis. Combining all the concepts together is called synthesis. So analysis and synthesis. If the student gives reasons, if the student is able to solve the problems, solution to the problem are related to conceptual understanding. So gives reasons. After analysis and synthesis, the student gives the reasons and find the solution to the problem. Mental images and describing in own words are learning indicators of conceptual understanding. I am repeating, analysis and synthesis. Based on analysis and synthesis, remember a link word, that is gives reasons. After giving reasons, the student finds solutions to the problem and he explains in his own words. So how to remember all the learning indicators related to conceptual understanding? Similarities, differences, classification, explanation, illustration with examples, analysis, synthesis. Remember together, analysis, synthesis, gives reasons and finding solutions to the problem. Mental images is also one of the learning indicator of conceptual understanding and writes or describes in his own words. In a given textbook example, if these terms are there, these learning indicators are there, that is related to AS1, conceptual understanding. I am repeating, similarities, differences, explanation, classification, giving examples. analysis, synthesis, gives reasons and finds solution to the problem, mental images, and the student describe in his own words. Let us discuss some textbook examples related to AS1 conceptual understanding. All the high places are the cool places. Why? This question measures academic standard 1 conceptual understanding. All the high places are the cool places. Why? The student gives reasons. As I said before, giving reasons is related to conceptual understanding. Explain differences between check and draft. In this example, explanation, differences are the learning indicators of conceptual understanding. So, this is related to AS1. To explain the differences between check and draft. Jamindars supported Britishers. What would be the reasons? Write in your own words, or what is your opinion? Here, the student should explain in his own words, and the student should give reasons for this, why Jamindars supported Britishers comes under AS1 conceptual understanding. Next example, the sun always rises in the east. So, what are the reasons? The sun always rises in the east. Find out the reasons. So, giving reasons is related to conceptual understanding. Next textbook example, compare the tools used by the earliest people of those of modern times. So, comparison, finding similarities is one of the learning indicator of AS1 conceptual understanding. Next textbook example, what are the differences and similarities between borrowing money from money lenders and banks and self-help groups? Remember, in this textbook example, differences and similarities words are there. That's why this example is related to conceptual understanding. Next example, is it correct to say that girls are naturally weaker than boys are? Gives reasons. Remember, based on the learning indicators, important terms in conceptual understanding, you can say that this textbook example is related to conceptual understanding because giving reasons is related to conceptual understanding. Is it correct to say that girls are naturally weaker than boys are? So, what are the reasons behind it? If the student is able to say, it is conceptual understanding. Next example, explain the similarities and differences between Buddhism and Jainism. In this textbook example, there are two words are there, similarities and differences. So, what are the similarities of Jainism and Buddhism? Both religion led by Kshatriyas. Jainism founder Vardhamana Mahavira and Buddhism founder Gautama Buddha. Both were Kshatriyas. And Jainism, Buddhism are in opposition to Hinduism. So, these are the similarities and differences. Jainism believes in Panchavratas or 5 noble vows, whereas Buddhism believes in 4 Arya Satyas. And to attain moksha, one must overcome desires according to Jainism. According to Buddhism, in order to reach moksha, so we have to overcome sufferings. So, these are the differences and similarities between Jainism and Buddhism. The Godavari river flows from west to east. Why? You know, the birthplace of Godavari, Nasik, Trayambakam. It flows from Western Ghats to East Bay of Bengal. So, what are the reasons behind it? Because the Deccan Plateau slows down right from west to east. That's why Krishna Godavari, Kaveri merge in Bay of Bengal in the east. Next example, how many types of ocean movements are there? Here types means classification. How many types of ocean movements are there? Here types means classification is related to conceptual understanding. Next example, explain the process of paper making in your own words. If the student is able to say based on his own words, it comes under conceptual understanding. What are the 6 seasons in Indian climate is also related to conceptual understanding. In summative evaluation, conceptual understanding weightage is 16 marks out of 40. Remember, academic standards are very important in summative assessment. In formative assessment, we assess 4 areas of the students: the student written work, the project work of the students, and the third one students participation and reflections, and the fourth one is slip test. Unlike formative assessment, in summative assessment we measure, assess academic standards. Summative assessment are 2 types. We conduct 2 summative assessments in a year. So yearly twice we conduct summative assessment. Each time we conduct for 40 marks. For example, conceptual understanding consists of 16 marks out of 40. Very important. So in that context, so what are the questions and textbook examples are related to conceptual understanding? Next question, differentiate between local time and standard time. In India, standard time is 82.5 degrees east longitude. Next example, explain the differences between equator and prime meridian. Equator is related to latitudes, prime meridian is related to longitudes. Next example, differentiate the differences between weather and climate. So knowing the differences is conceptual understanding. Next example, compare and contrast convectional and orographic rainfall. So rainfall can be classified into different types: convectional rainfall and orographic rainfall. If the student is able to compare and contrast, it is related to conceptual understanding. Next example, the sun rises 2 hours earlier in Arunachal Pradesh compared to Gujarat in the west, but the clocks shows the same time. So what are the reasons? So giving reasons is related to conceptual understanding. So far I explained AS1. AS1 means Academic Standard 1 conceptual understanding, which consists of 16 marks in summative assessment. Hi dear Gurukula teacher job aspirants, this is Dr. Moses. I am an educational psychologist. I have produced more than 10,000 teachers across 2 Telugu states as principals, TGT, PGT and JL. To get IAS IPS job, a person should know general studies. To get group 2 job, you should understand economy. To get police job, arithmetic and reasoning are the core subjects. And to get NEET examination, physics is a difficult subject and core subject. And to get teacher job, pedagogy is an important subject which is difficult to understand, which requires expertized teaching. In Gurukula there are 3 papers. Paper 1 general studies, which consists of 100 marks. Paper 2 pedagogy, which consists of 100 marks. And paper 3 content, which consists of 100 marks. So to master over general studies, you should read more than 50 books. To understand content, you should study right from 6th class to 12th class. But pedagogy scope is very less. If you want get good marks in pedagogy, you can learn pedagogy within 10 to 15 days. Emily Educational Academy is providing pedagogy classes in offline and online mode. If you want online classes for pedagogy, you can download Emily Academy mobile app from Google Play Store. If you want more professional videos on pedagogy, you can subscribe Dr. Moses Emily YouTube channel. To get Gurukula job, you should master over pedagogy subjects. So learning pedagogy is not everybody's cup of tea, because we learn pedagogy at B.Ed level, D.Ed level. Pedagogy consists of 500 core concepts. If you cram those concepts, you can't understand pedagogy, because pedagogy is application based, understanding based, not knowledge based. So if you want to learn pedagogy, so we have a group of experts in Emily Academy, and we teach right from basics to complex level. So within 10 to 15 days in crash courses. So if you want online courses, you can subscribe Emily Academy YouTube channel and install Emily Academy mobile app from Google Play Store. For more information, you can call to 9515151879.
ప్లే స్టోర్లో ఎమిలీ అకాడమీ అని టైప్ చేసి నేడే యాప్ డౌన్లోడ్ చేసుకోండి. ఆల్ ది బెస్ట్.